YouTube, how we doing? Past the prop back here again. It is time to get it going here for another MLB slate, full slate on this Wednesday. Joined as always by my guy Stu. What's good, man?
Nothing much. Been pretty relaxing. Just got back from the great state of Michigan. Had a good time with some family. Just a very laid back time. So we're back, ready to get back to work. A lot of good stuff on today's slate, like you said. My Nationals out there going again against the Padres. A lot of good action. It's all day, just like most Wednesdays. So, like we always say too, if you tune in a little bit later, you got some questions, drop them in the comments below. We're here to help, 24/7. But excited for the slate today. I think we got some good ones.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, we're absolutely loaded today with action, with some good arms, some shit arms, some high totals. Yesterday I saw was like one of the lowest totals of all time for games for total runs. I think it was like 4.5 or 5, something like that. Pretty crazy to see those types of numbers this far into the season.
Yeah, no doubt. And of course, what the day everyone's betting home runs, right? Stephen Kwan and Arias are two of the first guys to hit homers. So it just kind of tells you what kind of day yesterday was. And I'm glad I stayed pretty far away from it personally. But definitely, hopefully we get that offensive bounce back today after a little bit of a slower day yesterday.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And some of these ones start really early. I know a game starts in less than an hour here in Atlanta with their coming off of a doubleheader or off of a break because of rain yesterday. So should be good. And I think we're ready to get right back into it. We haven't been on here in a while, so obviously it's good to pop back on here.
100%. Yeah, like I said, I've been low volume, a little relaxed, but I've won 4 straight bets over my last 4 days, so I'm still enjoying MLB. I couldn't resist on Sunday, had to hop back in, and it went pretty well. So excited to keep that going today, and for the rest of the week, hopefully.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's ready to get this thing going, and let's break down what's your favorite game today, Stu. We got a lot to choose from. What is the one that's kind of sticking out to you?
Yeah, I think there's a real obvious one for me today. I think it's one a lot of people will be watching. That Giants-Dodgers nightcap today. Robbie Ray making his return. Tyler Glasnow on the other side. That's as bad as good of a pitching duel as you can get in the MLB, especially when you consider, it's a guy we haven't seen all year going against, a guy that's, very well in contention for the Cy Young right now. You mentioned those low totals, only 7.5 for a reason. I personally would not be interested in very many batter props in that game. Definitely staying away from that. But I think just pure, kind of must-watch TV, I think that's the top of my list today. Although I will always give credit. I always shout out Waldron. He's facing my Nats today. I love the knuckleball. So that one will be a nice little appetizer for the nightcap.
Yeah, no, I haven't really broken down too much of the late games yet. But I am really looking forward to some of these early games. There's some early games I do like. I've been on a very hit or miss streak with Hunter Brown, so I'm interested with that. I've been betting the A's quite a bit, and they've been making me money. So I like that one. And then obviously I really like this Cubs-Brewers game as always, and I'll be kind of talking about that here in a second. But should be a pretty interesting game there. Obviously a day game, and it's not that hot out here, so should be good. And I think that'll be a fun game to watch just for an overall betting perspective.
100%. Yeah, and it's always good when you get the actual solid games in the middle of the day as opposed to what they normally like to do where they give you, the worst game possible as the only option. Today we actually got good stuff all day. Even the Phillies Twins at 110 as well is another nice early game. So definitely excited for that one. And I know you got a good spot in that Cubs-Brewers game as well.
Yeah, we'll talk about it there a little bit. We have no questions yet. Obviously, this is a different time than we usually pop on here, so bear with us. We understand how it goes, but work schedules and stuff like that. We're just happy to be obviously popping on here with you guys before all these games start. Because if we would have pushed it to our normal time, there have been 4 games already started. So let's get right into it. So we got 2+ money spots, and I will kick it over to you to start us off here.
Sounds good. I'm going to Adley Rutschman of the Baltimore Orioles. Runs scored +120. We'll start out with the pitching matchup going against Edward Cabrera, someone who, he's an interesting case, right? Like, I kind of thought he'd be really good this year. And it's not that there's not potential to be really good, right? Because the stuff I mean, the velocity, especially, and even some of the off speed with the changeup is solid. It's just he feels like a guy that really hasn't put everything together. And at the end of the day, there really has been one ultimate downfall to all of his stuff, and that's command, right? If you can't throw strikes, you're not going to last very long in the MLB. And I think Cabrera's 7 ERA is a lot in part because he can't really throw strikes. And when you can't throw strikes, you're put in a lot of positions where you don't want to be. When you dive even deeper into Cabrera, once again, that changeup is his best pitch. Batters sitting under 200 against it, but you can't be a high-end MLB pitcher, right? When your fastball is getting hit at a 402 clip on the season so far, right? You got to get to that changeup. You got to get to spots where you can use that high-level off speed, and obviously that velocity, carried him a long way. But now we're in the MLB, and everyone throws 100 miles an hour now, right? Everyone's bringing the heat. So that was kind of the first thing that jumped out to me is one, we walk a ton of guys, and two, obviously the fastball is getting hit all around. The other off speed is the curveball, which has been, kind of middling results so far this year. But Adley really does match up pretty well against the pitch splits. Nothing special against the changeup, 258 expected batting average, but we're over 300 against both the four-seamer and the curveball, right? Nice 500 slugging against each of those as well. And that's the thing when you look at Cabrera as well. He's pretty kind of evenly bad against both lefties and righties. Nothing sticks out too much, but you do notice lefties slugging up to 600 against him so far. While righties, it's more at that like 458 kind of range. So there is not much of a noticeable difference in terms of average, but the power is coming more with lefties. And the reason why I picked runs scored, I was telling PBS before the show, I was looking at walk because as we know, Adley, I mean, the guy has, he's had elite vision since his first second in the MLB, right? It's been abundantly clear that this guy sees the strike zone better than almost anyone else out there in the league, which is obviously even more impressive considering still how young he is, right? So he's the guy that can take a walk, 3 walks in his last 4 games since coming back from the All-Star break right here. But I do like the plus money just because we know this Orioles lineup is locked and loaded with a ton of talent, right? Whether it's Gunnar at the top, right? There's a lot of guys around him. Santander is in another good spot today, guy. We talked about lefty power a second ago. Not sure there's a better, name right behind you to hit a bomb. So, but what I really want to talk about with Adley right here, beyond just the walks, because I do think the vision is going to likely put him on base right here. But I like that we can compensate for it, even if he doesn't get walked, right? Even if it's not there, because he's not had a good July before the All-Star break. If you looked at it, it was bad, right? He was kind of barely scraping along, but we had a little bit of a break, and suddenly we're over this number in 3 of our last 4 games since coming back from the break. 2 runs in 2 of those games as well, which shows this offense finally got things a little bit more figured out. So I normally go hits, runs, RBIs, right? And that's around minus 120 right now as well. But to be honest, just the plus money price tag on the other side with such a high probability of him getting walked, I kind of like putting the bat in some of these other guys' hands. Like I mentioned, Santander right behind him. Westberg, a guy that's made a lot of money for me so far this year. The other thing I want to talk about briefly, too, is when we look at it, Cabrera has not gotten it deep in games whatsoever, right? And this Marlins bullpen is kind of tired, right? Their pitcher last night only made it 4 2/3. Guy before that made it 5 the other night. They've had to use 5 bullpen arms in each of their last 2 games. So we get a starter that's not going to make it very deep in this game because he walks a lot of guys. And then we get a situation right here where I think we could go against kind of the B side of the Marlins bullpen after that. It just feels like a lot of, good matchups in a game that I expect the Orioles to take care of business in. So, like in this plus money price tag, if you look at his overall July stats, they're not amazing, right? He's not having the best month in the world, but he came back from the All-Star break over this number in 3 of his last 4 games, got a little bit of energy, a little bit refreshed. I think it's going to be a great second half of the season for Adley, and I think this is a great matchup to take advantage of him.
Awesome. I always like betting Adley. I just like this roster. I like just betting the Orioles overall, man. They're a fun team. Santander is one of the hottest hitters in baseball. Can't say he is the hottest because Bobby Witt is a human being and alive right now. So been happy with making money on Bobby Witt. But, I mean, it's hard to fade a team like this. They can hit both sides, right? They can hit both sides of the plate extremely well. And not only that, but you're getting one of the worst bullpens in the MLB behind him. So I think this is a good spot. I mean, you can hit it in the 9th inning, right? And when you're up 8-0, and all it takes is 1 at bat. So really like this spot for you. Definitely agree. I will be actually kind of fading my own team here today. And I'll be going with Justin Steele under 1.5 earned runs on DraftKings at plus 130. I think it's going to move to 2.5. Honestly, I think people are going to keep betting that juice and throwing it in there because not many people like betting these earned runs at 1.5, right? A lot of people bet the over, and I understand it, right? It's just one swing of the bat and you're kind of there. But let's just talk about my Brewers here. Obviously, we know their struggles versus lefties. I bring it up quite a bit. They have a 79 WRC plus so far this year against lefties on the road. Obviously, I know it's a rivalry game. I hate the Cubs. I despise the Cubs. I hope they lose every other game. But let's get a nice 3-1 win here for the Brewers and score it off the bullpen because Justin Steele has just been completely electric here. I like that he's kind of understanding I don't need to go for 25% K rate. I'll stick to that 23%, right, that he's at now. And he's just getting very, very low hard contact right now, about 34%, which is very, very good for the big leagues. Their 2.99 xERA is phenomenal. That's really, really good. And I love these spots, man, where you're buying off of a huge, huge letdown game, right? But we talk about the Diamondbacks, fantastic against lefties. That's what they're built to do, is score runs against lefties. You got so much right-handed power in there. Kendall Marte at the top is obviously smoking lefties right now. Christian Walker, Gurriel, we don't have that. What we have is probably Joey Ortiz is our best guy who's hitting off lefties. Even our righties don't hit lefties that well. Willie Adames does not hit lefties that well. It's pretty wild. They're very good against righties. They're phenomenal against righties. We just saw Yelich go on the IL today as well, which is going to just make this lineup completely worse. But they gave up 5 runs, right? Steele gave up 5 runs to the Diamondbacks. In the book says, hey, let's give you a line at 1.5. That's what I'm telling you. That just tells me enough that I'm gonna be going right at this. I've seen this happen way too many times. The Brewers getting Steele and Steele just absolutely wipes them out. I also like to talk about last game as well. He had a xFIP of 3.4 and 2.49 actual FIP in these starts, and he gave up 5 runs. So he was throwing well. It's just he got BABIP to death, right? He just got hit into the holes, and that's part of baseball, man. And if my bet loses because we hit 2 50-mile-an-hour bloops and maybe they have Lane Thomas in the outfield, then, yeah, they're going to obviously score runs. But that's what's going to happen here, and that's baseball, though. Like, that's literally what's going to happen on those. But I think that these rivalry games like this, a day game in Wrigley on a Wednesday, man, there's nothing better than that. And I'm really excited for this game to watch. But I think Steele mows down this team. I really do. And I think the Brewers get to the bullpen a little bit more. And that's kind of what's been happening, right? The Cubs have kind of had an absolute trash bullpen. It's been exactly what happened with the Brewers towards the end of seasons, where they're lights out for the first 3 quarters, but Counsell throws the same 3 dudes and throws them into the ground. And if you're not used to throwing like that, you're not going to last right now. And that's what I think is going to happen here. I think Steele goes 6 innings, 7 Ks, lights out, bullpen gives it up, and the Brewers get that W. So really feel good about this one. I like Steele in the spot.
Yeah, no, they're obviously a good price right here. And you mentioned not a lot of people really want to play the 1.5. And I mean, myself included a lot of the times. It's a scary number to get to, right? But I've also been being across this side of the screen from you. I've been unfortunately not telling you on a lot of these that you've won, So it's something that I got over a little bit earlier in the season, and it's definitely paid dividends so far. And you kind of mentioned it. The thing you're really worried about is that one swing of the bat can change things. I think that's why what you mentioned with the really low hard hit rate is so important, because if you're keeping the ball on the ground, it limits your mistakes, right? Even a steal mistake isn't going to be as deadly as some of these other guys just going down the slate. JP Sears, right? This is the guy, if he's missing, it's going 500 feet. But Steele has done a very good job of limiting the mistakes and keeping the ball in the ballpark. And you mentioned it. No Yelich. Ugh, this lineup is ugly now. I mean, it's been scrappy all year. It's never been like a beautiful lineup, despite the fact that guys are producing very well. But especially against the lefty, now you take out Yelich. You already mentioned Adames never been able to hit lefties for whatever reason. It's just not the scariest lineup in the world right now. And Steele has had good success against this team in the past. So definitely like riding this. This feels like one of those day games. We get a nice 1-0 going into the 6th. People have their home run bets. They're not quite hitting, but it's going to be a good, close, rivalry baseball game right here. And I like the bet. Yeah,
no, I agree. I definitely agree. And hopefully Brewers can wait till they get to the bullpen here to light them up. So definitely a look that I want to attack in this spot. And we can get a quick recap in here, Stu, before we get on into possible long shot. I don't have one right now. I might be finding one here, maybe if FanDuel will actually give me a long shot option here, but we'll see. Let's get a quick recap in here.
Sounds good. We got Adley Rutschman runs scored plus 120, widely available, best price right now over on ESPN Bet.
Awesome. I'll be on Justin Steele under 1.5 earned runs at plus 130. Give me 1 second here, Stu. I want to see if FanDuel finally gave these out. Yesterday, it did not give me the daily K leader until like way late, so I didn't even get a chance. But I might. Nope. They're like, dude, they keep ruining this because they have the two New York teams playing each other, so they don't give out anything. I don't give a fuck about the Subway Series. I ain't betting on that shit. What are we doing here?
Yeah. So okay. Yeah, I mean the slate starts at 12:20 as well, so it's not like there's much time for them to post
That's
it.
what I'm saying.
So we probably won't get that today.
Damn. Well, I guess kind of what I really like this first game. We'll just do this for you guys live right now. So the 12 people that are in here, I will be betting that Atlanta game. I really like that over in that game. I want to find a way to have exposure to that game. If I could have, I would have taken game one, highest scoring game of the slate of the whole day. I think it beats Coors today. I know everybody wants to bet Coors because Boston went crazy yesterday. Cal Quantrill's been good. Like, I can't even fault this dude. I can't even talk shit on this guy anymore. He's been really good. Like, dominating teams. Not blowing your bats up, but my God, dude, this dude does not give up any power, and he's in Coors, and he just continues to throw bowling balls into the ground. And I'm not going to trust Boston in this spot. I think this is a huge letdown spot for Boston. And I kind of like the Rockies today to win, and that's scary to say, but I would bet that Atlanta game as the highest scoring slate game. I think that game goes crazy. You got all these dudes hyped up from last night, probably getting ready to play. Wyans or Winians or however you say it has gotten blown up by lefties. Well, unfortunately, you're going to be facing a lot of power lefties in this bat, and then you still got Spencer Steer in there, Fraley, some other lefties in there, obviously Ellie, Candelario. So I really like that game over, and I will be betting probably a couple ways. I do like that one. That would be my long shot, but I like Colorado today. I think Colorado wins this game against Boston. I do not trust that side. Like I'm also a big Doyle and Tovar guy. I really liked them this year. They made me a lot of money. I wish Chris Bryant wasn't playing because I think he just makes everybody worse because I just do not like him. So but yeah, I think that would be the game. If I was gonna play a long shot, that would be it. But they're not giving me much in any options for long shots here.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, Cal Quantrill, man, we've bet against that guy so much, and then the urge is still there, right? When you made money fading a guy, but you got to look at the numbers, and no matter how unlikely it seems that a guy that doesn't generate swings and misses on a high level would be able to survive in Coors, he's doing it. Like, he's just, like you said, keeping the ball on the ground. I mean, Giants got to pay this guy bag next year. That's what I'm predicting. They're gonna find a way to get another ground ball pitcher over there. But either way, or maybe the Athletics as well. They like doing that. Way overperforming expectation. I don't have any long shots either. I will say, looking at the slate, the one thing that did pop, you mentioned a little early game action to get in. I kind of like Trey Turner for total bases at plus 400. Okay. I mean, you can bet home run as well, obviously, but this one starts pretty soon. But it's one of those things where I'm not necessarily with a guy like Trey, who I've seen so many times in his career kind of accumulate the total bases outside of just the homer, and them being similar prices. I really don't mind that plus 400, especially they called up Festa back, who's going to be the bulk pitcher in this one. The guy's been awful. He's been very, very bad, right? And this is a lineup that you don't want to do that against. They're starting with the lefty opener, but he's going to be the bulk guy in this one. So Trey Turner was like the first guy that I looked at on the slate. And now that I'm even seeing it, wow, his hit price is only minus 240 for just a single hit in that matchup. And hits runs RBI is minus 125. So look out for that on Twitter a little bit later. I think I'm going to play the hits runs RBIs. I don't really get the total in this game. I get that the Phillies can't score every single run, but I mean, I really like the Phillies' offensive side in this game. So I think Turner's a good person to look at, especially given the recent form right here. But it does start pretty soon. So
Yeah, no, good looks. I'll put that up there. Obviously, I don't have a line for anything I can play long shot wise, but just a heads up, I will be playing that, and yeah, it's got to be on the slate there. So, yeah, Stu, anything else you got for the people here? I'm assuming we're both going to be putting out free plays out throughout the day. So, you got anything else for the people here right now?
Yeah, I mean, well, maybe look out for Trey Turner, like I said, in the next couple minutes. Got to dive a little deeper into their hits, runs, RBIs, and I think that's a good spot right there. But overall, like you said, a couple more plays on the slate. Keep gonna mention it. NFL content will be coming very soon for me. Been diving into these slates. Already have a couple bets placed, couple futures locked in, couple long shots as well. So I know we're gonna talk about that at some point in the future. Hopefully, we'll have some articles coming out pretty soon as well. So very excited for NFL. A lot of good stuff on the horizon. But hopefully, you guys join us for the end of this MLB season as well. I know it's not the sexiest thing in the world. I know people don't love the MLB at this time of year, especially when it's not new anymore. You know, that the new car smell is gone. You've been betting MLB for a couple months. A lot of people fall off, but there's some money to be made. It's been going good so far, and hopefully, you stick with us until football season because it's going to be a good end to the season.
Yeah, no, we crushed last year football. I'm excited for that. I love the grind of baseball season, man. There ain't nothing better for me. Obviously, I love it. So I've been in the weeds. I'm still in the weeds, and yeah, football can wait a little bit. I'm still feeling pretty good about it. So feeling pretty good. Hopefully, we'll be ready to roll here. I'm excited. So yeah, we'll talk to you guys Wednesday. Well, today is Wednesday. Jesus Christ. We might be doing something tomorrow. We'll have to figure out something tomorrow if you have time, Stu, because Friday. I have a wedding on a Friday, and then I have a bachelor party on Saturday. So I'm gonna be. If you see me probably at that time, I'm probably gonna have a couple drinks in me already, and I ain't trying to pop onto your hammer. You guys ain't trying to see that, you know. So, my logic will be, ooh, this sounds cool. I'm gonna bet it. Yeah. So we ain't gonna do that. So I'm excited. We'll talk about it. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. You'll have the information there. So thank you guys, and best of luck on all your bets today on this huge Wednesday slate.